Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another video. This is a paid request for Guillermo. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, or full playthrough, tier list, ranking, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this is for Lola from 2022, which once again, what's interesting with Guillermo is a lot of times he'll send in requests that I've never even heard of the film. Sometimes they're not so great, which is fine because at least I've seen it once. Or there's films like this which I didn't mind. I thought this was an intriguing one. If you're into found footage type of movies, this is at least an interesting, different take on it because it's not a horror film. It's a sci-fi period piece, what if story combined, because footage that was found in a house in England that shows footage that was shot in black and white using the type of cameras you would have at the time, and it takes place in 1941. So it's a found footage film using the black and white, that type of photography of the 1940s. So that right there I thought was a very interesting take on it. It reminds me of, and I forget the name of the movie now, but there was a movie that was a found footage that took place in the 60s about the moon landing, or about how it was faked. And then there was this conspiracy to try to shut the people up who did the fake moon landing. And that, I'm bad with names. That's the only reason why I can't remember it. But that was an interesting one. I liked that one. This one as well. The acting is pretty good. The story was interesting enough. It's not too long of a film. 80 some minutes, give or take. And the two characters are Tom, Thom, and Martha, who are two sisters. The two sisters, and one of them is pretty much a genius who has built this machine named Lola. They named it after their mom who has passed away. It's just the two of them. And just like the way they have the old school like costumes and the screens that you have at the time, monitors, TV screens you have at the time. And she has built a machine where they can see and hear radio signals and TV stuff in the future. For example, even though it's 1941, they're able to see David Bowie, a music video he did with Space Oddity, which is cool because I like that song. It's one of my favorite David Bowie songs. Ground Control. So they're able to get entranced with the messages that they see and enjoy the music that's in the future. But then war comes to England, and they realize, wait, we could go ahead and find out where the Nazis will be and radio them out. Use transmissions from the future to get information, and then we tell our other people in this timeline to warn of upcoming attacks. And at times they do a little bit of kind of like the Forrest Gump, where they have certain footage mixed in with archival footage. Like there's a bit where one of the characters is in the same room as Adolf Hitler. I thought that was very ambitious for a low budget film, because Forrest Gump, when that did it, that had a much bigger budget. Or they'll have archival footage, but they'll put like their own voice, their own voiceovers and information to utilize it for their story. So I thought that was interesting. Like I said, that it's a cool plot. It's a cool story. I like it. And things are going well, and they decide one of the military officers comes by and they want to work with the two sisters. One of them falls in love with the other sister, Martha, and things are very successful. And there's bits of celebration. The two sisters even do a song from the future, which is, "Girl, you really got me now. You really got me. You really got me." But, as you can assume from this type of story, things start changing. When they tune into the future, they realize, oh no, David Bowie's no longer there. Same with Bob Dylan or Stanley Kubrick. And of course, Martha is very pissed about this because, she loves Bob Dylan, she loves David Bowie, I want them back. The other sister goes, well, either they weren't born, or they were born, but they became a dentist, or they became a doctor, or whatever else could have happened. Or they might have been completely erased. Who knows? And then, of course, like the first half is a bit more cheery, a bit more, I guess, a bit more trying to have a bit of fun. And then the second half is when things start turning and things start going to shit. Where the war has changed, you think for the better, then ultimately for the worst. And again, it is interesting to see kind of the what if angle. I mean, which is points of a lot of, not some time travel stories. The butterfly effect, if you change one thing, you change everything. Or how this action, which seems like a good thing at the time, will lead to these circumstances. It was cool to see where it was going. Then more into spoilers, starting out spoilers. What happens is, the one lady, Tom, she gets more adamant about, and I will say, I think they could have done a better job explaining why this one sister was thinking this way. For example, she's like, we'll use this American ship as, what's the word? Well, the Nazis will converge on this one ship, and then we'll go in and shoot the shit out of the other ships. And we'll use this one ship as a decoy. And even the other sisters going, well, but what about that ship? But this is a way to get rid of all the Nazi, ships on the sea, and it's a way to really completely annihilate their naval support. So, she pretty much sacrifices the American ship for their own benefit in England. But while it does succeed in helping screw up the German Nazi naval fleet, what it does, cause and effect, is America sees that and goes, wow, I guess Winston Churchill sacrificed American lives, that ship, for their own benefit. And so then they're like, well, fuck Winston Churchill. We're not helping. We're not going to go help you. No aid from the U.S. No aid from the U.S. You don't have the U.S. invading. You don't have Normandy. You don't have, of course, the atomic bomb in Japan. You don't have any of that. Although they don't really mention, what's weird is they never mention Japan at all. They only mention the Yahtzee Nazis. And then they even leads to worse stuff because, again, heavy spoilers. I will say this before the heavy spoilers. If you like watching a film that delves a bit into alternative history, if you're open to seeing a found footage type of style done in that way, again, I think the black and white photography looks really neat. The way they make the set design and equipment and everything look like 1940s. The acting I thought was pretty good. The characters were there. I kind of wish we knew a bit more about the sisters before the machine. Or again, the one sister, why at times she gets so adamant, willing to sacrifice one for the other, and what drives her. Is it something to do with a parent that died? Which, if it was, I missed that, and that's my fault. Otherwise, they could have delved a bit more into some of the characters and some of their motivations. But yeah, I thought it was overall a pretty decent movie for a film I never heard of before. At least it was a bit more different, a bit more unique than your typical found footage flick. So what happens is, again, heavy spoilers. Why you keep saying that? Because people say I need to do better letting people know about spoilers, so sometimes I repeat myself. All the time I repeat myself, because better safe than sorry. They hear a transmission, they send the fleet over there, and they come to find out that it was a trick. It was a trick so that now Southeast England is exposed, and because it's exposed, now the Germans go there, they take over, they go city after city because there's no one there to protect it. And then because what happened before, there's no U.S. to aid them. And now the Germans have taken over England, and you see kind of this alternative history. And you even see into the future, like different songs. I kind of wish we could have seen more of these transmissions of the alternate future. Well, we see like a couple songs, like unique songs, but I wish we could have. It would be nice to see more of that. And sorry, I'm doing two things at once. But yeah, it would be nice to see more of that alternate future. Like, it would be nice to see footage of, like, what does the U.S. look like in this future? What do other countries look like in this future? How does the landscape look like? Maybe they weren't able to do that with the budget. Maybe that's just a bit too much to ask. But I would like to have seen a bit more of this, the alternate future, and the monitor and the transmissions that they have coming through. The Germans attribute their success to the one sister, and I guess she works with them. And I don't really know why. Maybe they tried to explain it. That maybe, but there's like no other way to do it. There's no other way to go. If we don't do this, we'll die. But I don't know. If that was the case, I didn't really get the sense. Again, maybe this is my fault, but I thought this section was a bit kind of messy, where when it went from, oh my god, what happened, what did we do, to now the one sister, Martha, is with this soldier, and they're hiding somewhere in this like little house or whatever, while the other sister is more popular and she's on magazines. They go, oh, the woman with the machine that can see the future, and she's worked with Hitler and all this stuff. But then there's a point where she gets frustrated. She's like, I thought I could work with these people. I'm like, did you? If it's one thing, like, I have to do this, or they'll kill me, or they'll kill my family, but maybe they tried to explain it, but I just didn't really get it, and it didn't really gel with me, at least, for me personally, and I do like the line, I'd rather be sentimental than psychotic, and that's what the one sister says to you. But it's like, I wish we could have. I think the film could have done a better job showing why the one sister was acting this way. Again, if there's some turmoil, some stuff in her psyche that happened with the mom or such, and never this will happen again. If they tried to do that, then I think they could have done a better job explaining that. It just, that's like the one part of the movie that was a bit iffy. Other than it was interesting seeing the visuals of, you know, like placing Hitler in these scenes with some of the characters. Long story short, spoilers for the end. The one sister, Tom, looks at her machine again and sees that her other sister has been captured and is ready to be hung. She can't have that, so she goes over, saves her. But in saving her, she just shot herself and killed. Martha escapes and realizes the film she's been making this whole time, she's doing this in the hopes that somehow, some way, back when they were making this machine, they're looking into the future to see these transmissions. Maybe somehow, some way, they'll see this film. They'll see this. I guess maybe the idea is that this film will be shown somewhere, some way, and then somehow that's how they'll be able to get the transmissions of it. Because I'm like, well, okay, let's say I'm filming this right now. Would that machine be able to see this footage? Or is it just stuff that you would see on national TV? Or is it just anything that's filmed in any way, movie, show, whatever, of home video, someone with a video camera, because it's been filmed, somehow that transmit. So I don't know the 100% the details of that. I guess you're supposed to just go with it. I mean, it's sci-fi. It's as ridiculous as is, but and then pretty much it shows that this footage was found. We don't know what happened to the sisters, but we did find this photo from 1945, which you see like this celebration, and you see the two sisters in the back, meaning that they did, apparently they did see that footage, and they decided not to make the machine. They decided to let things play out the way they are supposed to, and they did live on at least 1945, and I just afterward just went somewhere else. That, or they took the machine, but they just used it to watch David Bowie videos. I don't know. But they are together, and they at least lived to 1945, so there's that. So, but yeah, it was an interesting what could have happened, what if tale. And in the acting, I didn't mind. The ideas, the story. Like I said, I do wish there was a bit more to the one sister as to why she goes to a different type of thinking. It kind of seemed out of the blue. It just kind of seems like it wasn't properly developed as much as it could have. And you just say, well, it's war, and she doesn't want people to die in war. Yeah, I get that, but I think a bit more. It seemed like there's something a bit more personal as well. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Other than a few nitpicks, it was interesting as a one watch. And if you're intrigued by found footage stuff, but you want to see something a little bit different, it's definitely worth a watch. So overall, I liked it. And you know what? Actually, I want to look real quick. Found footage film. Operation Avalanche. That's the one I was talking about the found footage done about the moon landing, and it was fake. That one I probably liked a bit more. But that makes for an intriguing double feature. If you want to see more either sci-fi, found footage is usually known just for horror, but you want to see something a bit different, that one or Lola is definitely worth a look. At least one time, so there you go. With that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.